Feminine power versus masculine power. Which do you need more in this moment? My aim is to give you aha moments. I really want to explore some things with you, give you some tools, open some doors to some deeper parts of self that really allow for like revelations to happen. You might be very surprised at what you find when we go into the different things we're going to go into in this journey. We'll call it a journey. My aim is to make it much more than a conversation, something that'll take you deep, something that'll really reveal something about what it is that will break you through to the next level. Really and truly, my sense, and I get to watch this in many individuals in workshops and retreats and programs, is we are barely scratching the surface of our potential, right? And like, don't let that be something that discourages you, but my hope is that it's something that encourages you, that there's just so much more, right? And let's find that. Let's dive into this conversation to reveal the so much more. And our doorway in to reveal the so much more within self is kind of this doorway in of walking into what is feminine power. Not at all from a standpoint of sex or gender, but from a standpoint of just like the raw essence of like intuition, creativity, flow, life force, vitality. What is the power in there? I want to go really, really deeply into that because there are some things that are going to surprise you, I think. And then I want to walk into masculine power and really explore like the power behind presence, behind focus, behind direction, behind consciousness, behind creating of containers. I want to talk about that in super simple terms. So you don't need to know Tantra. You don't need to know polarity. You don't need to know divine masculine or divine feminine. You don't need to know anything. I want to just really make this something that we can sink our teeth into, something that we can bring into our daily lives, for crying out loud, right? Okay, I'd love to start with a story. This oftentimes helps to make things more tangible around what it is that we're going into. Have you ever seen those people, or maybe you know some, or maybe you can even identify yourself as this at times in your life, but you see them and they're very flowy, right? They're very flowy. They're very creative. They feel a lot. They're very emotional. They're very intuitive. They have a lot of like inspired ideas. So it's like, wow, I want to start this business, and gosh, wouldn't it be so great if I could take photographs, and then maybe my photographs I could turn into art, and that could become like a little side business that I start. And you feel like this, like genius in there, like that's their genius. And it's really beautiful, but you know darn well, they will never make a business out of it. They will never make a business out of it, right? They will never ground it in. They will never anchor it in. They don't have the masculine power of direction, of discipline, of focus, of attention, of driving the ship, steering the ship into the port, right? And just, feel into something like that. So that's a lot of feminine power, but lacking masculine power. Okay, so now let's feel on the flip side. Let's just kind of take this little example on the other side of things. You see people or know people, or you can relate yourself to, there's a lot of doing. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of getting things done, like goals. But it's not very fulfilling for them. You can almost feel like they're burnt out. They're having to override their heart, their loves, their desires, their passions, their deep purpose, their real true callings, to get something done. So they're accomplishing, they're doing things, they're getting things done. But you can feel like, wow, this isn't bringing you joy. This isn't, like, wow, look at, there's all these things that you're creating in the world, or you're running a business, or you're, bringing home money, or you've bought a house, or you're creating your empire. But you're kind of dead inside. Like, it's soul sucking. Soul sucking is a feminine. Soul is a feminine word. Soul is a feminine word. So it's like soulless action, right? Can you feel this or relate to this in some degree? And I know for me, I've lived different moments of my life where I've swung from one side of being just uber femininely empowered, but being broke as shit, right? Like broke as broke can be. And then I've swung to this other side where I'm looking great on paper, right? I mean, I'm accomplishing things. I'm looking great on paper. Got the house, got the cars, got the job, got the, whatever it is. And I have no spark in my eyes. There's no life. It is soul sucking. It is soul crushing. I can barely get out of bed because I have no life force or vitality. More feminine words. Okay, let's go into this. So you might already be getting little insights or little inklings or little, I don't know, that's what the aim of this is. So let this, how we walk into things, let it take you deeper and deeper. Let there be like hints or revelations or inspirations or just glimmers of something. Right? Let it take you deeper and deeper. And as we go further and further, the energy will build and we'll be able to access deeper places as we go into this journey. Okay. So the question that we're really asking ourselves, I just want to remind us of this. It helps to hold this intention, which, by the way, that's a very masculine thing. Helps us to hold. It helps us to create a container. It brings focus, it brings attention, it brings awareness, right? It's very powerful. We're going to walk through this. We're going to do the things that we're talking about. I mean, you're going to be feeling things from multiple different angles. It's kind of wild how all of this works, and no need to think too hard about it. It hopefully is hitting you on much deeper layers than just the mental layer. But if we bring our original intention and we just bring it top of mind and we bring awareness and we bring our focus to it, it's which do we need more of right now? That's the whole point of this, is which do you need more of right now? Do you need more feminine power, cultivation of more feminine power? Or do you need more masculine power, cultivation of more masculine power? And so let's just feel into this for a moment. Your life right now, where you're at, we have to be radically honest with ourselves or we will get nowhere. So that's tip number one. We have to be okay to see the good, the bad, the ugly. Like radical honesty, full acceptance of whatever we're going to see. Otherwise, we're going to make up a story, we're going to falsify stuff, and we'll never get to the truth. And so just this quick moment of feel like you're taking down the armor, right? Like you're in front of a friend, a loved one, someone who you can like reveal your deep truths to. And they witness them without judgment. And if you don't have a person like that in your life, imagine someone, like create the essence of something or someone, put them in front of you and just feel like I can sit in front of this person and I can peel back all the layers and I can just reveal my deep truths to them. So that's we're going to set ourselves up this way. And so just take a moment to that. You can always pause if you need to, just like drop into a little bit of a deeper practice or a little bit more visualization, but maybe just feel the layers of your armoring or the masks that we wear. We wear a lot of masks. So you maybe just take off some masks, take off the armoring. It's like you're allowing the soft, vulnerable underbelly of you to be revealed. Yeah. And don't worry, it's just to yourself. Right? It helps though to imagine someone like right opposite you who has zero judgment and you just really can reveal deep truths to, and it's held with love. It's held with love and it's just witnessed with love, no matter what it is. Okay. So from this place, now feeling into just where you're at in life in this moment, just kind of feel into your life. your daily life. Now feel for this. I feel like I'm lacking love. I feel like I'm lacking connection. I feel like I'm lacking intimacy, right? This like the flow of love between other people or between other things, or like animals and plants, and there's like other forms of life. It doesn't just have to be humans, but I feel like I'm lacking love. And just see how that lands from that vulnerable, raw place. Like, wow, I would really love to have more connection in my life. I would really love to have more intimacy in my life. I would really love, in whatever forms, it doesn't have to be human to human form, but I feel like I'm kind of craving more love, more interaction, more connection, more flow of energy between me and something else, more of a dance of energy, of love between me and something else or someone else. And just feel that for a moment. Okay, this is all exploratory. It's all exploratory. Everything, even the no's, are valuable information. So if that was wow, no, I have an abundance of connection, of intimacy, of family, of friends, of animals, of things that I am constantly in communion with. I think that is the right word that I want to use in this moment, right? Community, constant, there's a constant flow of life between me and these other things. Like, no, I've got a lot of that. That's valuable information, right? So our no's are just as valuable as our yeses, okay? So let's flip over to the other side of things. And again, from that vulnerable, raw, open place, it's, I'm really lacking a sense of purpose, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of a goal, a sense of a mission. I'm really lacking this like drive. I'm really lacking drive, purpose, accomplishment. Like I'm really lacking mission, like these sorts of things. Like I'm really lacking the drive to get somewhere, to create something, to make something happen. I'm lacking that. I'm lacking that. I feel like I'm floundering around a little bit, or I feel like we can shift this a little bit. I feel like I'm never getting anything done. I'm not getting any traction. I'm not getting any traction. I'm not getting anything done. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. These are words around this side of the coin. And just again, from like raw, vulnerable place. And I know we're just barely stepping in, like stick with this. I really encourage you to the whole thing, because we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, right? This is just the doorway in. It takes a little bit of time to get to the deeper guts of this big, beautiful journey that we're going on. So you can always pause and write things down, or just really deepen into things, or you might have dreams about this later. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get into deep places when we're together. Sometimes it's much easier when like kind of we're in this space and we're in this like energetic cauldron together. But for some, it's you'll be driving the car later and you'll be like, whoa, you know what? That thing that Sabrina said around not really feeling like I have a lot of traction in my life. Yeah, I actually am feeling that. Or like, whoa, I'm actually really craving more soulful connections. Like, yeah, I have a lot of love flowing in my life, but I'm craving deeper intimacy, deeper vulnerability, deeper love, deeper. I'm craving to go deeper. So things may get revealed, not just here. Kind of encourage you to sort of keep the door open and like let life talk to you, right? Or let truths be bubbled up in dreams, or while you're driving the car, or taking a shower, or maybe if you journal, you just do like free flow writing. Who knows? Just this invitation to keep the door open. Okay, so taking a step back from just this first little, let's just call it exploration number one. From this first exploration, taking a step back and going, okay, on the first one where it was love and connection, that's a feminine power. That's a feminine power, right? Is connection. It's love. It also has to do with flow, creativity, intuition, life force, vitality. It's just the amount of energy that can move through us, right? Move through us, move through the world, move through us and the world, move through our connections, move through our love. And our connections can be our creations, our businesses, our teams. They can be anything. But it's really like, what is this flow of energy? What is this flow of energy? Where are we at with it? How locked up is it? How open is it? Right? Are we able to allow life force to flow through us? Like, how available are we to allowing life force to move through us? Right? That's it. Just energy and life force to move through us. And so you can even feel like that may have brought an insight, right? Like that's kind of an exploration number 2 built on exploration number 1 is just, you can feel in your body. Let's do this somatically. Let's make this exploration number 2. Just feel your whole body. I know I've kind of referring to like one side of the body is this, and then I go to the other side of the body is this, but like your whole body, just feeling. The body is feminine. Body-based practices are feminine, right? Dance, movement, breath, like body is the feminine, embodied is the feminine, right? So if we just feel like, what is the flow of life that moves through me? How available is my we can even like tap into sexual energy as vitality energy. Does that move through the whole of my body, right? Does aliveness move through the whole of my body? How often does that happen? Like even just in this moment, you just kind of check in and you're like, whoa, I'm actually never in my body. I'm really only like from my throat up, like body, what? I don't know. And when I am in my body, I'm just doing like linear running or linear weightlifting. I'm not really ever like letting flow movement happen. I'm never letting a flow of energy. That's feminine. Feminine is the flow of energy. How open is our body, your body, to the flow of energy? The flow. Having your body more open to the flow of energy will support anything and everything that you're trying to do in your life. Isn't that wild? Feminine power. Here, we're starting to define things finally. We're starting to get a little bit deeper in here. Feminine power. It is your capacity to allow energy, vitality, flow to move through you. Now imagine you're a very masculine oriented person. Let's just say you've got big goals. You got no problems with purpose. You've got no problems with goals, things that you want to do, things that you want to accomplish. But here's the wild part. How much energy, feminine flow, can you get behind it? If you can get more feminine flow, feminine power, feminine, like all of this energy, it's life force. You literally become a channel for life force itself. Creative capacities, inspiration, intuition, the connection of the infinite, all of everything moves through you. You connect into divine mind and you literally channel a whole lot of life force into whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. That's feminine power. I know I talked about it from a bit of a spiritual sort of an angle, but it doesn't have to be spiritual in any way, shape, or form. It's just cultivating life force in self. It's cultivating, it's embodiment practices, it's opening up the body, it's opening up different wisdom centers. Your heart is an entire wisdom center that can pump so much energy toward goals and things that you want to accomplish in your life. Whether that goal be to create a family, whether that goal be to make money, whether that goal be to just live a happy fucking life, right? It doesn't matter, but it's like you get the juice behind it. You get the fuel to the fire. You tap into this never-ending, inexhaustible source of energy. So if lacking vitality and aliveness and energy is something that you're feeling in life, it may very well be that feminine power is your place to focus. It may very well be that that is where you would be best served to focus is, wow, I'm actually going to cultivate my relationship to feminine power. I'm going to cultivate my relationship to aliveness, to life force. I'm going to focus on bringing more life force through my body, right? That's going to be the greatest thing that I can do. I've got a really beautiful thing to dive into off of this, but I just want to feel if this is the best route. I think it is because it's the only thing that's coming into my mind. Okay, so I want to take a little side turn here. We're talking about feminine power as something that brings life force to things. Something that brings life force to things. Something that brings juice. Something that brings energy. Something that brings vitality to things. Feminine power also brings soul to things. It brings soul to things. So if you ever feel like a soulless company, it's probably because it's been lacking feminine power. If you're feeling some sort of a project doesn't have soul to it, there's no heart and soul to it, right? Or you have a purpose or a mission or a goal that doesn't have soul to it. Feminine power brings the soul to it. That's part of what allows the juice to come into it, right? That's part of what the feminine power is it aligns you, right? This is part of what happens, is that it aligns. This is sometimes why people don't want to open up to feminine power, because it's a deep, 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 deep truth. Like, well, if this isn't in alignment with your soul and what it is that your soul wants to do, I ain't getting behind it. Do you hear that? So if it's an egoical drive, a false self goal, false self mission, right? Which is very masculine. I'm not saying the false self or the ego is masculine in any way, shape, or form. That is not it. We're just simply talking about direction, goal, mission, purpose, right? If it is driven by ego, false self, the feminine power, which is soul power, soul juice, right? It's life force, will have a very hard time getting behind it. Will have a very hard time getting behind it. So what happens is you start to cultivate feminine power. This is why a lot of people unconsciously do not cultivate feminine power, because it will literally put you into alignment with your deep soul callings, your deep soul purposes, your deep soul truth, what it is that you actually on a soul level came here to do, right? That's wild, because it will sometimes strip you of the false goals, the false, what the world told you you should do, right? What school told you should do, what your family told you should do, what society told you should do, and it literally comes from the soul. No, this is actually what we came here to experience, to accomplish, and to do here from a deep, soulful place, right? Can you feel that? And can you, and just a quick moment to just reflect and go like, oh, I now know why I don't want to touch Kundalini awakening, right? All the fear around Kundalini awakening. Yeah, because it's going to point out where you're living a false life. It's going to point out where there is no juice behind the mission or the purpose or the goal or the thing that you're trying to do every day. There is no juice, and you will never get juice to it. Right? And so you hear all of these like, oh my gosh, I like working with the feminine. It's so intense. It's so wild. Like Kundalini awakening and Shakti awakening. Like, don't ever do it. It's so scary, because it's soulful. Because it's soulful. She will show you where you are out of alignment. It is one of the greatest gifts of feminine power, is feminine oracle. Feminine oracle, feminine intuition will literally show you where you are out of alignment with your heart and your soul. But not everybody wants that. Not everybody wants to be in alignment with their heart and their soul. Deep, deep, deep down, we do. It's the only place of fulfillment. It's the only place that we'll ever actually feel like we're happy, and we're actually feeling fulfilled, and we're actually feeling we're accomplishing things. Everything else is it's empty. Everything else will feel empty until both of these come into alignment, which we're going to dive into a little bit more. Both feminine power, we're going to flip it over. Don't worry, this isn't about, just really amplifying and highlighting the greatness of feminine power. We're going to flip over here in a second and amplify the greatness of masculine power, because it takes them both. It takes them both, right? Okay. Whew. So kind of going back to our original question of which do you need more of? Which do you need more of? Feminine power or masculine power? Which do you need to cultivate more of? Which are you called to dive more into? Okay, so let's park that conversation, and then let's flip over here and let's talk about masculine. Let me feel for my doorway in here to this next exploration. So let's go into this exploration from, if we just talked about, here's what feminine power brings to our lives, and it was vitality, and it was life force, and it was soul. And then let's talk about what does masculine power bring into our lives from that same level. So if we're going to go, feminine power brings vitality, it brings aliveness, it brings life force, it brings alignment to soul, to heart, right? And it brings juice. It brings juice. What does masculine power bring? Masculine power brings the capacity to direct the juice. The capacity to direct the juice, right? It's incredibly powerful. Bear with me because it's going to take a little bit to find words to flesh this out, and hopefully you can feel this too on a deeper level. If, let's just say you are working with a geyser of water pouring out. Geysers are those things that, if it's not a term that's like top of mind for everyone, but it's a geyser and it just like floods water out of the earth. It just erupts and it's just flooding water out of the earth, right? But just imagine it's just going everywhere. And then that's an enormous amount of force. It's an enormous amount of force. Now let's say that you would really love to direct that enormous amount of force to create free energy, right? You want to create free energy from this enormous amount of force. Well, just the force alone, you're not able to create free energy. But now, if you put masculine power, which is structure, direction, over that geyser, with that geyser, so they're working together, you're not controlling the force. You're directing it via giving it a container, right? So you create a container, you create something that will direct it, that will allow it to convert, to be manifest, to be made into free energy for all, right? Free energy for all. So that would be, so can you see, feminine power alone cannot create free energy itself. Feminine power mixed with masculine power, right? Container, direction, aim, intention, purpose, mission, aim, purpose, create free energy, right? The masculine is what makes that happen in union with the feminine power. Can you feel that? Can you feel that? Like, I hope that little analogy lands. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's dive into this a little bit further. Let me feel. When I step into, and there's many other forms of masculine power, by the way. We're just starting to dive into one. So stick around if you're like, yeah, I'm not resonating with this one. There's many more. So we'll go into other ones. But just this particular form of masculine power is, you know how people talk about transmuting sexual energy? It's like a thing, right? Transmuting sexual energy. You can transmute emotional energy. You can transmute every form of energy, mental energy. You can transmute. You can all of it. It's just life force. It doesn't matter what the emotion is. It doesn't matter what the mental process is. It doesn't matter. It's just all life force energy. It's just raw energy. And the capacity to transmute it, to pour it into art, right? Like, so I have all of this life force awaken me. Let's say I'm a very emotional creature. I am a very emotional creature. That's just really fucking true. And I have this capacity to take this emotion, and instead of it just being something that destroys me or obliterates me or leaves me on the floor crying all day long, every day for the rest of my life, which there's that much of it that it probably could, right? Instead of that, it's this capacity of like, yes, honoring that form of the energy that's moving through you, but knowing that it is just a form of energy in whatever form it is. We're talking high level here, right? And of course, on another lower level, it is very important to honor what form that is and to give ourselves spaces to grieve or to rage or to joy or to whatever. But I'm talking high level here. So come up here with me. And if we just take this raw energy, the capacity to transmute it into art, into something that serves the world, into something that is in alignment with purpose, mission that I came here to do, right? Which for me, it's just to serve whatever, to create things that serve the highest good of the all of everything, right? That's it, This conversation comes from that place. And can you feel, if you just feel into me for a moment, right? Can you feel like my passion, my juice, my aliveness, it's coming up, but I'm channeling it into this conversation. So the channeling, the capacity to transmute, I'm very passionate about this. I get very fired up about this. There's a lot of emotion involved. There's a lot of energy that just moves through my body and through my being. But to switch on my masculine capacity to guide it, to direct it, and to get to this goal, which the goal is to create an experience for you so that you can hopefully get some insights and revelations around these two forces, masculine power and feminine power, and what are you called to work with? What serves for you? What aspects of the two are you called to dive further into? But the only way that I can channel this enormous amount of force that moves through me, feminine, into the world to create something, right, with intention, with focus, right, transmute all of that into something tangible that's giving you something, hitting my purpose, my aim for being here is with masculine power, right? I am so hoping that this is landing for you. And if not, don't worry, we're going to keep going. So maybe other things will land for you. Okay, so that's one aspect of masculine power. I want to talk about this in a little bit of a different flavor. So hold on a second. Let me feel. I don't know where this is going to go, but we're going to see what happens. So if feminine brings, let me feel. I don't think that that's my best doorway in. If feminine brings alignment, remember I was talking about the juice will not be brought without the intuition, like the soul, right? So it's like, oh, I might have this purpose, I might have this goal, but if I don't bring in the feminine, it's not from a soul-aligned, heart-aligned place. And the juice has a very hard time getting behind it, which is why it's scary to work with that, okay? So if we were to reverse this or flip this over to the other side of the coin and attempt to talk about masculine power from that standpoint. Okay, let me feel for a second how I can bring words to this. If we're talking in terms of this, right, like let's just go feminine, Mother Earth, Father Sky. Right? Mother Earth, soulful, Father Sky. And then we start to feel into this masculine power, this is our doorway. Masculine power that is Father Sky. It is expanded consciousness. It is detachment. Not detachment bad. None of these things are bad. It opens up, it expands our consciousness. It opens us up. It takes us into the infinite all of nothing, right? Father Sky takes us into sky. And so let's say we're just, here we go. We're going to try this. Let's say we're just very, very soulful. Like we've got this in spades. We've got feminine power and we've got soulful in spades. But we get really attached to things. We get really narrow-minded. We get really attached to things. They get really fucking personal. And it's part of the feminine gifting is that it is the connection, right? It is love. It is the flow of love. But it gets really, really personal, and sometimes the blinders can go on, right? And so what masculine power, one of the gifts of masculine power when working with just raw essence of masculine power, right? One of the gifts of it is that it allows you to see from a greater viewpoint. Allows you to see from a greater viewpoint, right? It opens up, it loosens the attachments, the cords, the connections that are holding you back from highest potential. Does this make sense? This is so tricky and it's really hard, and we've done a lot of what the feminine power really gifts with, right? Is this alignment of heart and soul, and it's very earthy and very grounded and very tangible and easy to talk about, right? Because feminine is embodied, so it's tangible, it's easy to talk about. Masculine is much more, you know, it's the things like Buddha talked about, right? Of, you know, I am not attached to this. I am not attached, like, this isn't going to hook me in. This isn't going to hook me in. This isn't going to stop me or slow me down from my greatest expression of self, from my mission, my purpose. And sometimes our mission or our purpose is just the great becoming. We are just becoming. That is truly the greatest thing that we came here to do. Like, that's our soulful living is. And sometimes we have to create companies to become something, or we have to create a family, or we have to create a great relationship. And so we follow the breadcrumb trail of like what, you know, Joseph Campbell, follow your bliss, like what lights you up, what's blissful for you, what's blissful for you. But at the end of the day, all of these little experiences, your specific, unique experiences, they're designed perfectly for you. Sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's career, sometimes it's serving the world, sometimes it's becoming a healer, sometimes it's getting through family drama, sometimes it's just putting food on the table. Whatever those are, they're all perfectly designed, uniquely set up for your becoming, right? For your ever greater becoming, right? You are becoming. You're becoming. True self. You're becoming true self, right? True self. You could say enlightened self, whole self, whatever. We won't go into that because then we'll end up down more rabbit holes. Okay, so... feel into, this is a good one. Feel into, for those of you who are really tapped into feminine power. And feminine power can be, you're just really emotional. That's a feminine power. You're really emotional, right? Like, let's just use that. Or there's just a lot of juice that runs through you. You're really creative, or you're really intuitive, or you're really sensitive. Like all of those sorts of things. And then feel when, like, something, it's like, it's so much that you are almost in a tornado of it. Like I was talking about my emotion. I have an extreme amount of emotional energy that moves through me. And if I am only tapping into my feminine power, it's just this wild amount of emotion, and I'm literally stuck in the tornado of it. I'm stuck in the tornado of it. I'm stuck. I get hooked into something. And it's like maybe the emotion came from the loss of someone, right? The loss of someone close to me, loss of love, loss of someone close to me. Maybe this is just this enormous amount of loss, and I get stuck. I'm hooked into it. I'm hooked into it. We don't want to hear this part. You're not going to want to hear this. Maybe you do. But I'm just going to warn you, you're probably not going to want to hear this. You get hooked into it. And you're like, but I lost this person. Yes. Yeah, you did. Yeah. And we need time to just be with that, for sure. But when we bring in masculine power, it has the capacity to get you the hell out of the tornado. You can't even see anything other than loss, grief, anxiety, rage, whatever the emotion is that you're stuck in, right? You're spiraling around in tornado of hell. Like, that's all you can see. You have tiny little blinders on. You can't see the full perspective. You're just like right here. And all you do is you're acting from just this that you can't see. You cannot see. All you see is loss. And so you get tattoos all over your body that just say like loss, grief, pain, rage, and you're not up here, which is masculine power to just go, I can see that you're in this moment in time and you're stuck in a tornado. And masculine power, masculine gifting has the capacity to know how long it serves to stay in the tornado. This is one of the greatest masculine powers ever. How long to stay in the tornado, because sometimes that tornado serves. Tornado of loss, grief, pain, rage, whatever the hell you're in, it serves. Like, that is the greatest thing and the most serving thing to do. And then the masculine has the capacity, right, to guide out of the tornado, not denying the raw life force or the raw energy that's coming in, not denying it, but shifting it into love. It's insane, and we fight that. We fight that. If you have been doing feminine work for a long time, you will know that you hit a point where you will fight that and you will get so pissed off, right? But when done well, and I'm talking about masculine power. I'm not talking about someone else doing this. Yeah, that's definitely available where we can do these things for each other. We can be in a relationship between masculine and feminine energies, masculine and feminine powers, and we can do this. We're constantly dancing in these polarities with all of our friendships, all of our relationships, all of our everything. We're doing that. But we can also do all of this in ourselves and cultivate all of this in ourselves. So I have this capacity to keep discernment, to keep this discernment piece. So emotion comes and it's huge and it's an enormous amount of life force. But there's this discernment of, does this serve to be bawling your eyes out on the floor for hours? Yeah, actually, that is the greatest thing that you can be doing right now. Yep. And then discernment, you know what? Now I'm going to lead, guide, direct the life force to move into a different direction, to serve something different. Can you feel that? It is insanely powerful when both of these forces are alive and operating and in harmony with each other and dancing with each other and gifting each other, right? So it's like the feminine keeps the masculine in alignment, right? Feminine oracle comes in and is like, hey, you're actually not aligned with your true purpose. You're actually not aligned with your true heart's desires. You're actually falling into false self, egoical self, right? Like that's feminine gifting, feminine oracle can instantly you're out of alignment. Nope. That's not it. That's not your highest potential. That's not your highest service. That's not your highest goal, your highest mission, your highest action at this moment. That's feminine power. It's feminine oracle. And feel, is that what you need to cultivate? I'm not talking about finding this in another person. Not in this conversation, not in this video. This is about taking ownership in ourselves and cultivating it for ourselves. Oftentimes, the wild thing is that when we do cultivate it in ourselves, that's when we attract someone else who has that same thing, and then we can dance in it, where they can gift with it, we can gift with it, we can gift each other back and forth, but it's oftentimes cultivating it in ourselves that calls that in, that there's a harmonic resonance to it, right? Sometimes it's cultivating the opposite in ourselves so that our deep feminine meets their deep masculine, but sometimes it's cultivating both. For many of us, what I'm seeing now is that is our path. It is not, well, if I just cultivate deep feminine, I will call in my reciprocal, right? Like my equal opposite. For most of us, feel into if this feels true for you, right? Again, this is all just revelatory. Everything I'm sharing here is about you revealing yourself to yourself, right? So you just feel for what's true here. It's just things to feel into. But for many people, I'm watching more and more men and women who are showing up at retreats and workshops. They are now being more and more called to cultivate both within self. And then that's what brings in really powerful relationships, right? They have cultivated both within self. They call in a partner who has cultivated both within themselves, right? But more and more. So you feel for you. You feel for you. What feels true. Okay, so I want to go back to this because I want to do the opposite. I want to really honor the masculine in this piece. So if feminine power, feminine oracle, I want to do masculine oracle here for us. So if feminine oracle is like, I'm going to show you where you're out of alignment. I'm going to show you where you can do more. I'm going to show you where you're off your purpose. I'm going to show you where you're off your mission. I'm going to show you where you're not connected to your heart, connected to soul. I'm going to show you that. 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 By the way, she will sometimes show it to you. The world is always showing it to you. We'll show it to you in like snarkiness, nastiness, anger, rage, throwing tantrums, like weird stuff. You can literally, once you train yourself to watch for this, right? You literally watch the whole of the world, or disappointment, right? Like those who hold strong feminine oracle, you will share like a plan that you have and you just watch their face. And if they're like, huh. Versus you share a plan with them and they're just like, right? Like the life force literally shows you through their body And it doesn't have to just be humans. I mean, you can do this with meditations. You can do this with nature. You can do this with the world around you. It's constantly talking to you, right? Reveal a plan and have a feminine oracle right by you, and you will know if you're on it or not based on how much life force comes through them, based on how vibrant they get. Because feminine force cannot help but show up for aligned purpose and action. Can't help it. Can't help it. Love and light, it can't help it. It wants to create. Life force wants to create, right? And so just can't help but show up when it's in that alignment with soul, with heart, with deep truth. Okay, I know another little bit of a tangent, but hopefully all of these different little angles are giving you different things to feel into and different aha moments. Might be a video you have to watch a couple times over because there's so much to it. Okay. Let me feel for a moment. Okay, while we're on this like weird random pause, there is an awesome free workshop on sabrinalynn.com that is called Heart Warrior Workshop. It works exactly on this alignment piece. If you have never done this workshop with me, I really strongly suggest going and doing it. It is crazy powerful, super experiential. It will take you deep into places, and it's really about this alignment piece. So if you really want to embody it, anchor this, and like bring it home in like a gnosis, like reprogramming your energetics, your nervous system, so it's not just the conversation around it, go do that workshop. Go do that workshop. We'll put the link up here. We'll put the link below down in the description. Just look for Heart Warrior Workshop. You can always just also go to sabrinalynn.com. It's right on the homepage, at least right around now when this video is coming out. Okay, so let's feel now into masculine oracle. So if we were to feel into masculine oracle is what brings the gift of discernment, of direction, of leadership, of guiding life force into, into the direction that most serves the moment. So that's what masculine gifting is. Masculine power is, it literally, you bring in consciousness and you go, where does consciousness want to flow to? Where does love want to flow to? There are many things in the world that are tugging on my attention. They are tugging on my focus. They are tugging on my love. They're tugging on my heartstrings. They're tugging on my life force. They want my attention, my energy, my focus. They want my love, they want my light, they want, right? Can you feel that? There's lots of things in life all of the time. And what the masculine power does is it goes, this one is the most important one right now. This one is your priority. This one is what serves the greatest good right now. Here is where we pour our juice into. Here is where we pour our life force into, right here. Now, how many of us are lacking that, right? So yeah, feminine oracle will say, hey, you're out of alignment, you're out of heart, you're out of soul, but that feedback is what gives masculine power his power, because he has this capacity to receive all of the feedback, take it in. She can't receive all that. She can't take it in. She can't discern like that. It's just too much juice coming all of the time. Too sensitive, too empathic, too much. Can you feel that in yourself? Just think about daily life. There's too much to feel into. Everything's tugging at you. It's all over the place. But cultivating masculine power can take all of this in, right? Where she got snarky, where she got dull, where she like, there's just no juice, and has the capacity to read all of the energy that's going on, everything that's coming at him, and guide it, right? Direct it in the greatest direction possible. And the higher and higher and higher that masculine is evolved in us, the higher and higher and higher that direction will serve, right? So when it's a low level, it's like, well, I'm going to serve the ego. I'm going to serve my fears. I'm going to serve from a low level place. And then he starts to get higher and higher and higher. Evolved masculine. I'm going to serve the greatest good of the infinite, all of everything, all of the fucking time. all of the time, all of the time. And I have a capacity to take in, to be present, masculine presence, consciousness, awareness, focus. I have the capacity to be present to more and 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 more. My consciousness is able to expand. I'm able to take in more and 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 more. And I'm able to direct, I'm able to focus it and direct things where it most serves, to create whatever business most serves, to create whatever relationship most serves, to create my day that most serves, to create the next 20 minutes, the next conversation with the next person, right? To the greatest degree that I possibly can. That's masculine power. It's masculine power. Can you feel? Fuck, it's amazing when these two work together. It is amazing when these two work together. By the way, that Heart Warrior workshop, it leads to a 7-part program called the Reunion Experience. And that's all about getting these two to work together. So if you're like, wow, Sabrina, this sounds fucking awesome, don't know how to do it, go do Heart Warrior workshop and then just do the whole 7-part series. And you get to work with masculine power, feminine power, how they dance together, 7 parts of it. It's one of the most genius things that has ever been created in ReWilding. I literally sat back as this thing was creating itself and went, oh my God, I don't even know how this is coming through. I don't even know how this, I could never recreate this thing, ever in a million years. And it's there, but it's not accessible on our website. You have to do that free workshop first. And that's the only way that it unlocks, but it's there. So go to the website, check that thing out, and just dive in, right? If you're like, wow, I really want to go into this power, I'm feeling this. And, you know, maybe you got some insights around, I'm really called to more feminine power. I'm really called to more feminine power. If you're really called to more feminine power, there's another masterclass, 6 Faces of the Feminine. That's on rewildingforwomen.com. We'll put that link below too. That's just feminine power. You're just going to work with the 6 faces of the feminine, right? It's kind of older school, but I love it. It's great. It's archetypal work. It's beautiful. But the one that I would say really supports what we've just dove into the most by far would be the Reunion Experience. And that's that Heart Warrior workshop. It unlocks if you go do that free workshop. Okay, let me feel for what can I give you? What can I give you to kind of wrap this up? I think I want to reiterate is, actually, no, I just want to say like, when these energies really start to, when these energies, are really alive and awake in you, right? They're really, we've cultivated them, we've opened the doors to them, and more life force is flowing through, and more consciousness is flowing through. Our capacity to flow feminine, and our capacity to focus masculine, when both of these are just really operating within our systems, and then when they're dancing in harmony, you like, I don't even have words for the sort of ways that life will create itself for you. We talk about like how to be an alchemist, how to be a creator, how to live our destiny, how to live fulfillment, how to be happy. It's that. Like, it's that it brings you all of those things that we're constantly looking for. I just want happiness. I want a fulfilling relationship, right? I want something that makes me feel on purpose, right? All of those things, right? I want more connection. I want more love. I want more joy. I want more whatever it is. Legit. They're all byproducts. They're all byproducts. So instead of just focusing on taking a fucking happy pill, what if you were to go to the guts of this thing? And I don't care how you do it. Maybe you go through the Reunion Experience, but maybe you just dive in yourself, right? There's a ton of other podcasts on our channel. Maybe you just like consume hours and hours and hours. There's a really cool one, 7 Signs of Repressed Feminine Energy Due to Masculine Wounding. That's a podcast I would suggest watching after this. So that's a video that you can watch after this. We'll link it right at the end. But if you want to just keep going, you're like, I want more. That's probably the best one to go into next. I just, man, oh man. I show up and I do this. Let me feel, I want to get the words right. It's hard to shift personal. from the space that we're in, it's really hard to shift personal, but I feel like there's just something here that might be a gift, because this is what fulfills me, right? If I get really, really personal, and if I really were to feel into masculine power in myself, I feel into masculine power in myself, and it's like, this is just what I came here to do. This is just what I came here to do. This is it. This is just what I came here to do, right? It's just what I came here to do. When I feel into that in that way, and you know, this describing masculine power, feminine power, the union between the two, like what happens when it starts dancing in our system, what happens in you, what happens in me, what can happen in the whole world, right? And it brings this feel in my body, and I don't know if you're empathic or sensitive, fucking dig right in, I don't care, like you can feel right into here. Like it blows my heart up, my heart just explodes. Like it explodes, and there's just this rush. It's like a rush of just juice, aliveness, purpose, not purpose, but juice, aliveness to support the purpose, right? It's just this like love, just this love. And then this wild alchemical thing kind of happens in my heart of like, fuck, fuck. Right? It's like a nuclear bomb of goodness goes off, and it's this weaving of purpose and passion and love and consciousness and life force and fuck. I just want to give that. And in the giving is also the receiving, right? Like I receive it's the greatest receiving ever. It's the greatest fulfillment ever. It's the greatest level of love that I ever feel. Right? Is when these things are in alignment. So I just want that for you. I just want that for you. Okay, enough. Thank you for being here. If you're on YouTube, subscribing so you don't miss any of the videos coming up. We're going to do a lot more of these like deep dive conversations. If you loved this, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. I always look at the comments first couple days after a video comes out. And the team is always looking at everything, so everything's always coming back. It's a co-creation, y'all, and I'm just so grateful to be here with you. Even if this was our first time together, like, welcome to the wildness. It's good to be here with you. And then just the invitation to do that Heart Warrior workshop and watch this next video coming up, 7 signs of repressed feminine energy, aka power, due to masculine wounding. It'll go a little bit deeper into some of this stuff. All right. I love you all. I'll see you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you. Mwah.